And we're back. Let's go to New York, where the New York Football Giants are 2-0. I was not on them. They're I don't know if I'm more surprised with the Giants start or more I don't even say surprised. I think I'm just more disappointed with Carolina. They suck.
I
And
am
I think
disappointed
it
with Carolina as well.
I mean like they stink. Uh Baker Mayfield 145. Oh my god. He threw 145 passing yards. He had one TD. Christian McCaffrey 15 for 102. And they need to get him the ball more. That's back-to-back weeks where he's only had 15 carries.
But thank God on the receiving side, thank God DJ Moore got in the end zone. Because if he didn't, it would have just been another dud.
Yeah,
And
they really spread it out. I
yeah,
mean, remember last week? Well, again, Baker Mayfield only completes 14 passes, three for Moore, three for Anderson, four for McCaffrey. Everyone else has one, and they're a bunch of no names. But Giants do win this, I don't even know if I said 19-16 on the New York side. Saquon Barkley, 21 carries for 72 yards. Did not find the end zone this week, but did have three catches for 16.
He
yeah,
still looks really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
He
Saquon's
looks really
rounding
good.
into shape. I'm gonna be honest. Seems like a great pick as of now. Obviously, you hope he can stay healthy. Um, Passing game for the Giants is gross as it's been.
This is another dud fantasy game.
Yeah.
I mean, just not a lot going on.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey had a decent day. Saquon Barkley wasn't the end of the world. He didn't kill you, but he also really didn't help you. I mean, getting back to Baker Mayfield, his QBR was 16.0.
Ugh.
I mean, that is awful. I
That
believe the
is-
league average is like 50 something, and he
Oh,
had a 16.0. So that's definitely worrisome. I mean, there was talking about DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson and stuff. There was problems in Cleveland. I mean, there's a reason that Odell Beckham's dad made that highlight tape of all the times Odell was open because
God, that was
Baker.
professionally done too.
Yeah, I know. Baker just does not like have it in him to target his guys. When you have a stud on your team, he doesn't understand like maybe I should throw them the ball more. Even if they're not completely wide open, that you trust them to catch the ball and do their job. But he just doesn't seem to have that in him. And I don't see how if Carolina's going to lose to the Browns and the Giants, what's going to happen when they
Done.
play
They're
a lot
done.
bigger games? I mean, when you start 0-2, you historically do not make the playoffs, and it's gross. And I mean, the G-men leading the way in the NFC East right now. So shout out Jackson Edelman. I know he's got to be loving it.
Philly hasn't
Yeah.
played yet.
Yep, I know. I was going to say that, but still, go Vikings.
I mean, the Giants, their defense looks good. They're tackling, they're hitting hard. I just was gonna tell you guys because obviously Joey, you mentioned the Giants' awful receiving core, but did you guys notice that into week 2 they had 3 receivers, Giants wide receivers, sitting just on the waiver list?
Top of our waivers was 3 Giants wide receivers, and not a single person wanted to touch them.
I can't touch them, dude.
Let's go to New Orleans. Everybody was on the Saints except for this guy. I took the Bucks 20-10. They win with almost no wide receivers.
It's funny that we were on the Saints. Like I was on the Saints too, and I had the Saints in our picks with Lara and all that stuff. But I consistently told Derek, because like I said, we were watching on Sunday together. I consistently told Derek throughout this game that Tampa was winning. And I called the Tom Brady touchdown drive. All the things were just happening. I knew Tampa was going to win the game. And I wished throughout that game that I had not taken the Saints because Drew Brees led Saints and Jameis Winston led Saints are just a little bit different of a team.
3 picks for Jameis.
I even picked the Saints, and I got Tom as my QB. I just don't even know what to do with him anymore. I need him to get angry in the first quarter because he looked fine in the fourth quarter. He threw an absolute dot in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, it's a Perryman. I mean, he was angry. That's for sure. Tom Brady got angry. Mike Evans was angry. Marshawn Lattimore was angry.
A lot of people were angry.
A nice little scrum broke out in the middle of the game. I mean, this was another gross game for fantasy, really. I mean, Michael Thomas did find the end zone and kind of salvaged his day. Jameis had 3 interceptions, I believe, like you said.
Olave is coming along nicely, I think.
Leonard Fournette had 24 carries, but only averaged 2.7 a carry for 65 yards. So I don't have any worry about Fournette. I mean, the Saints defense is a great unit. I mean, getting 24 touches on the ground alone, and then you can add in 2 for 9 in the air. Like, I'm not worried about Leonard Fournette. It was just kind of a dud game. There was a few games like this. Like we just talked about the Carolina Panthers versus the Giants, and now the Bucs Saints. I mean, just some dud fantasy games.
Speaking of angry, Nick Taitano is angry because Alvin Kamara did not play in this game. It was Mark Ingram. 10 carries for 60 yards. Not bad, but fuck him. I mean,
I made a comment to Joe too. I said he kind of looks pretty good too.
he did look pretty good. a little juice going.
Alvin Kamara could look good too if he was given the ball.
Yeah.
If he was on the field.
Mentioning that, I did see on Twitter that Alvin Kamara also had rib cartilage injury.
Same thing, Herbert.
As Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert does have a longer recovery time, but that is not a good sign considering Alvin Kamara did not play. Obviously, he's a running back. So I don't know how to kind of view that because obviously a running back's going to get hit more, but a quarterback is kind of standing there in the wide open. Sometimes you could maybe argue that he would get harder hits when he does get hit over a running back, but I don't know. So that is just a little thing we have to worry about with Justin Herbert going forward, considering that is the same injury and Alvin Kamara did not play the following week.
Let's go to my favorite game of the week and maybe my next favorite team. The Detroit Lions. I picked the Lions and everyone else didn't like it. They were laying the points and it didn't matter. 36-27, the Lions win at home against Washington. It was kind of a blowout early. I think Washington brought it back to make it close, but the Lions, they close, baby. Dan Campbell lets them close.
I mean, the Lions as a favorite in the last 2 years are 1-0. Let the record show.
Yeah. The last.
I didn't realize when I started the day that I was playing against the second coming of Jesus Christ. That his name is Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 for 116 and 2 touchdowns. Unbelievable. Josh Reynolds found the end zone. Swift, like I said, did not play a lot, but when he did, he was very effective. Rushing, I'm looking at it right now because I didn't see it. Swift had 5 carries, and then
he only had 3 more. Jamal had 3 more carries than Amon-Ra. And he had less
Jamal
yards
Williams
than
had 12 carries and didn't even get to the same amount of yards that DeAndre Swift did. So I'm hoping after a week they get Swift back with the ankle feeling a little better. He gets back to full. I mean, look at this production. Unbelievable.
I was going to mention that with DeAndre Swift because he did have the injury lingering. So I think that's why his usage was down. Running game on the other side of this game here in Washington, Antonio Gibson. Listen to this. 14 carries. 28 yards.
Oh, that's dynamite.
28 yards on 14 carries. He did find the end zone.
A long of 8. He
also had 2 for 13 in the air. That was crazy. But the guy of this game is Curtis Samuel. Once again, it's back-to-back weeks. Curtis Samuel looking like the guy Curtis in Samuel. Washington. Yeah, Taitano start of the week. I mean, he had 1 rush for 21 yards as well as 7 for 78 and a touchdown in the air with 9 targets, leading the team with 9 targets again. Terry McLaurin had 8 targets, but only 4 for 75. I mean, Jahan Dotson consistently getting involved, found the end zone, as well as Logan Thomas. He's back. He's somebody that people need to be looking at. I mean, Spano has him, I believe, as his tight end now after shipping away Kyle Pitts. But 3 for 37 and a touchdown. I mean, with 5 targets. Like I said, a guy that you can get off the waiver wire, you're not going to be mad with that kind of line.
I'll just throw in there, by the way, I know earlier we talked about a down week for Hawkinson. Still was second on the team in targets with 7. So don't panic on TJ Hawkinson.
But Amon-Ra St. Brown, just last thing. It's not like this was just like a couple big plays. He was early and often throughout this entire game. It was the Amon-Ra St. Brown show. And I mean, it's good to see. I mean, obviously I'm a Washington fan. We lost. Me and Derek both are Washington fans. We lost this game to the Detroit Lions, which is disgusting to say, but it is kind of a good thing to see for fantasy to see Amon-Ra, who finished his first ever season, like the last 6 weeks of that season on a high note with like 20 plus every single week. And he's continued it in the next 2 weeks. So it's good to see.
They said some outrageous stat where he's had, I think, 8 or more catches, not just targets, 8 or more catches in like 12 straight games or something crazy.
I think it's 7 or 8 games going back to last year, the second half of the season, and these first 2 games, I believe is what the stat is. I'm not exactly sure how many games, but I think it's 7, which is still crazy. Yeah.
Let's go to San Francisco. The Seahawks going to San Fran. The 49ers win 27-7. Like we said, Trey Lance was bounced from this game early, done for the year with the ankle. I mean, another kind of dud, if you ask me. Jeff Wilson, 18 for 84 is actually pretty good. He's on my bench. I was going to start him, but if you found the end zone, completely different. Garoppolo and Kyle Juszczyk find the end zone. I should have put Juszczyk on there, the irrelevant TDs of the week.
Yeah.
I missed it. I just didn't even. I saw it, but then I forgot to put it on there. But I mean, Yeah, go ahead.
With Jimmy G going back, I was just gonna kind of ask you guys what your opinion was. We talked about like the weapons on that team with Jimmy G being back, but is he somebody that we're looking at to actually play? If you don't have if you had Trey Lance, are you looking for Jimmy G, or are you looking for other guys that are probably on the waiver wire, like a Derek Carr maybe, or like a Daniel Jones ish sort of range?
If I was a Trey Lance person, I'd be looking more towards like a Mariota type person. But like if you were like me with a struggling Tom Brady, like Jimmy kind of fits the bill a little bit better. Plus, I'm big on Jimmy G. The boy always wins. I don't know what to say. Like,
I'm not.
Feel bad for Trey Lance. As soon as he came off the field, I told Joey, I said the 49ers just won.
Yep.
Look, I don't think so, to be honest. Unless you're in desperate streaming, no. I mean, Jimmy G wins, but Jimmy G is not necessarily good for fantasy. There's two different things there. So I wouldn't even be really looking at Jimmy G.
Yeah, well, with Jimmy G, you also have to think about the running game in San Francisco because Jeff Wilson had 18 carries for 84 yards and Tyron Davis-Price had 14 carries. So, I mean, that's 32 carries in the game right there, just from those two alone, let alone Deebo Samuel. Trey Lance had a few carries. Jimmy G even had a few carries.
If you have
Kyle Juszczyk.
If you have it split right here, the San Francisco ran the ball 45 times compared to Seattle, who ran it 14.
Yeah, I mean, which is just crazy. Rashad Penny only outtouched Ken Walker by 2 carries. Obviously, they were down early, and they went to the passing game, which got Tyler Lockett involved that we can get into. Tyler Lockett 9 for 107. I mean, he had a great day.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, I'm not buying into it too much either. DK Metcalf lost a dude on a big play. They got called back. He only had 4 for 35. Nobody really else in that passing game to worry about. Obviously, nobody's worried about Deebo Samuel as well. He didn't have the biggest day ever, but he got involved in the passing game and the running game. Brandon Ayuk, 5 for 63 on 8 targets, led the way for the receivers. Not a crazy thing to talk about. I mean, Ayuk is somebody that's probably on everybody's bench in a league. He's probably drafted in almost all leagues, but he's probably not started, rarely ever. Yeah, I mean, Jeff Wilson looked pretty good. He seemed to be the guy. So that's somebody to look at in the future, at least.
Yeah, let's go to LA, where the defending champ Rams, they got back on the right page. The Falcons go down to the Rams 31-27. Falcons like to play close games. Mariota, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Patterson and Algier split carries. And Drake London, like we said earlier, Drake London, he is here to stay.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about that Baker needs to do. Drake London had 12 targets. The next highest target share was Kyle Pitts, who had 3 targets and 2 catches. Drake London had 8 for 86. Oh, yeah, and Hodge, I'm sorry, who also had 3 targets, 2 for 57. But Drake London, 8 on 12 targets, 8 catches on 12 targets, 86 and a touchdown. That's what you want to see from your wide receiver 1. You want him to be dominating the target share. And Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier both had 10 carries. Not a great thing to see considering he was a healthy scratch week 1. Algier was. So,
Damian Williams is out. So I think he's stepped up into that second spot.
Yeah. So seeing that, you definitely have to worry about the future with Cordero. I know that's your guy, Derek. I don't know if you want to chime in, if you have any true worries or how are you feeling?
I mean, the score ended up close towards the end there, but the game really never was that close. And we'll just have to wait and see how Atlanta plays it. But I'm not too worried about Cordero because he'll catch the ball too. So I'm not really that worried about it.
On the Rams side, Darrell Henderson, I looked it up earlier, was my other start of the week. Didn't kill you. 10 carries, 47 yards. He found the end zone. I think he had like 15 or 16. Cam Akers is alive.
Made an appearance.
Yeah.
15 carries. So he out-carried Henderson.
Yep.
44 yards, but less yards on more attempts. I mean, Cam Akers is alive, and I still don't think you can start him.
No. I mean,
he got 3 targets out of the backfield too, though.
That's true.
He did get 3 targets, but the thing that I'm kind of thinking of, at least, obviously we can't know for sure, but the Rams went up early. And when the Rams did go up early is when I felt I started to see Cam Akers sub in more, I guess, kind of just to try to get him back going because he still hasn't been like that Cam Akers that we all expected after the Achilles injury last year. Darrell Henderson looked good when he did get the ball. Darrell Henderson did have a much better yards per carry at a 4.7 over Cam Akers 2.9. Passing game, Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. I love you. 11 for 108 and 2 on 14 targets. I mean, he's just that dude. Tyler Higbee back-to-back weeks. of great tight end performance, 7 for 71 on 9 targets. I mean, you love to see that with the depth of target of 10.1 or average catch of 10.1, excuse me. And
Allen Robinson lives.
Like to see.
He's
Allen
back.
Robinson
He should have had a second touchdown too.
Yeah.
I didn't see 453 with a touchdown, long 29. I mean, that's good. I think that's what you're gonna around 15 points is exactly what you'll take from.
I mean, that's kind of like what Odell was when Odell was on the Rams last year throughout those last few weeks of the season and into the playoffs. I mean, he wasn't getting the high target share that Cooper Kupp was because that's just not the kind of guy he is. Cooper Kupp is that guy on this offense, but the second wide receiver in Los Angeles was like a 4 to 6 catch a game and probably getting a few red zone targets and hopefully getting to the end zone. So I know I was playing against him. Sam Smith has Allen Robinson, and I'm sure he was happy to see him get involved.
Anyone else got anything else this game?
I mean, LA is going to be dangerous if they get him a little more involved. You know, might take away from Higbee a little bit, but seeing Allen Robinson getting active, I mean, he's got a nose for the end zone, dude. He had 2 touchdowns this weekend. They just took the second one back.
Still a very talented guy.
The only thing I will say is Matthew Stafford's been throwing some interceptions. I mean, that's going to happen.
Oh, I saw the one he threw. It was, I don't know what I think he's trying to throw it through a guy.
I mean, when you're slinging the ball around as much as Matthew Stafford is, you're going to throw some interceptions. So it's not the end of the world. But I mean, you'd probably want your franchise guy to kind of calm that down a little bit. Obviously, we're only 2 weeks in, so plenty of football to go. But I think he has like 5 interceptions in the first 2 games. So if that keeps up, he's going to have a new career best.
Let's go to the next game. Coming down to the final stretch here. Try to go through these a little quicker. This is the one I want to hear the most about from Joe. Let's go to Denver. The Broncos win 16-9 late. I mean, this game had nothing going on until the fourth quarter.
Sucked.
Russell Wilson
sucked.
Brandon Cooks is still open.
Brandon Cooks is always open.
He is still open.
Russell Wilson QBR 45.7, 14-31 for 219, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Javonte Williams 15 for 75 on the ground. Melvin Gordon 10 for 47, and then in the receiving game, Sutton 7 for 122.
I did love that.
Dominant, but I mean,
should have had a touchdown.
Who knows? Jerry Jeudy, I think, played 1 drive.
Yep.
1 for 11. So
that's definitely got to pump the brakes a little bit. There wasn't a touchdown scored until the fourth quarter. I wanted to vomit watching Russell Wilson play quarterback. 14 for 31 was a touchdown and interception.
You started rooting for the Texans.
I did. I wanted to see the Texans win. I was so mad at Russell Wilson. I was rooting for the Texans to win. I wanted to see Davis Mills get that win. I mean, it was just gross. And it's not like the whole drive itself just looked bad. They would drive down the field, and then all of a sudden they just hit a wall. And most of the time it was in the red zone. I mean, it was just gross. And
I can't figure out field goals.
They
still can't figure out field goals. They can't get out there on time.
I know. Well, yeah, and they're getting delayed games, dude. They're just looking gross. Nathaniel Hackett needs to stomp his foot down and let it be known that this sort of shit cannot happen. No, I called him a hack.
That was good.
He is a hack. I mean, the running game for Denver was all right. I mean, Javonte Williams, 15 for 75 is good. Melvin Gordon, 10 for 47, though, so they've still got that split. You already mentioned Sutton. That's the only receiver. He had 11 targets. The next guy had 3 targets on that team. Obviously, Jerry Jeudy, but yeah.
Dameon Pierce was finally given the ball. 15 carries, 69. It was nowhere to be found. Rex Burkhead, as far as taking a rush, he was out there. Did have let's see what he had. He only had 3 targets, 2 for 9 receiving, but did not have a carry. Is this Jeff Driscoll got a carry? What the hell happened in this game?
1 for 10. I have no idea.
Okay. Not a lot to talk about. 10 targets for Brandon Cooks and 9 targets, by the way, for Nico Collins, who I really like as to be their number 2. Both guys finished with similar stat lines, 4 catches for each, 58 yards for Collins, 54 for Cooks. And OJ Howard came back down to earth. 1 catch for 7 yards. So if you were banking on OJ Howard scoring 2 touchdowns every week on 2 catches, I'm sorry, that will not be happening. You want to go to the next game?
Yep.
Let's continue the trend of absolutely blowing it. The Las Vegas Raiders blow it in Vegas.
Gross again.
Cardinals win 29-23. Cardinals did not deserve to win this game.
Dude, nothing was right.
Kyler did Kyler things. I don't think Kyler looks very good, by the way.
I mean, he can still escape a pass rush, but that's about it.
Yeah, and he made that one throw for the touchdown to tie it. That was a great throw. But, I mean, for the most part, Kyler does not look good. It's mainly him running around creating stuff. Zach Ertz, 11 targets, 8 for 75. 11 targets for Hollywood Brown, 6 for 68. But guess what? When it counted, Hollywood Brown could not hold on to the football. Tell me if that sounds familiar. We talked about James Conner being hurt. Yeah.
It's terrible.
James Conner got hurt, so Darrell Williams, 8 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown.
Benjamin also had 8 carries, only for 31 yards, but so they did split the work there. Zach Ertz led the way actually in the receiving game for 8 for 75. Greg Dortch 455 and a touchdown. We already mentioned that. Not a whole lot to go from there. Obviously, this passing game for Arizona is still, it's a little shaky. I mean, Kyler's throwing it all over the place. There was like 9 guys that got targets or got at least one catch. And you still have to wonder what's going to happen in the future when DeAndre Hopkins does come back. On the other side, the Raiders, I mean, Josh Jacobs had 19 for 69, only a 3.6 average. So, I mean, not too good. He did not find the end zone, which is kind of what he's dependent on.
This is what you're going to get every week from him. He's only going to really pay out for you if he finds the end zone. Yep. And he hasn't yet. So, I mean, he's taking the majority of the work, though, you can see.
I mean, Devontae Adams in the passing game, he scored on the first drive. Derek was going hype. He scored on the very first drive, his first catch.
I had hope, and then nothing.
Dude, after that touchdown, I watched Budda Baker followed him the entire game.
Wouldn't leave him alone.
They had somebody manned up on him on the line, and Budda Baker was shadowing over top every single route.
Game.
And they shut him down. I mean, they did what they planned to do. Hunter Renfrow benefited with 759.
10 targets.
Waller. Yeah,
but then
10
he
targets.
coughs it up, gets concussed.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Darren Waller had 6 catches, 50 yards.
Nothing about that game was good. Kyler, I don't know how he pulled out a win on that one because he was just running the whole time.
Man. Darren Waller did have a good day because everything went Soup's way yesterday. His Jets, Jets, as well as his fantasy team all went off.
Let's go to the next game. Let's go to Dallas. Cincinnati, dude. I was on them. Maybe I got to stop picking them. They look bad.
There's nothing good to talk about in this game. Except for Cooper Rush and Noah Brown. That's it.
CeeDee Lamb, 11 targets, 7 for 75. So if he finds the end zone, a drastically different looking day, but maybe a little confidence that CeeDee can get you by with Cooper Rush at the helm. Here's the one bright spot for my team. T. Higgins, 10 targets, 6 for 71 and a touchdown. Thank God.
Yeah. You
Ja'Marr
got through
Chase,
the concussion protocol, luckily for you.
Yeah, he did. Ja'Marr Chase, 5 for 54. That's probably like the basement of what you're going to get for Ja'Marr Chase.
Joe Mixon also got his work, 19 for 57. So definitely not worried about Joe Mixon at all there.
I don't know what's going on. They just can't. What was Burrow's final stat line? 1 touchdown.
199 yards. Didn't even get over the 200 mark.
He didn't have the interceptions, but he just looked a little off. I mean, they just have not clicked. And I mean, they were in the Super Bowl last year. And like I said, 0-2 teams historically do not make it to the playoffs. So that's something we're going to have to see what happens if they can flip their season around.
And let's go to our final game. It was Sunday Night Football. The Packers hosted the Chicago Bears. Packers win 27-10. Rodgers looked back to form. I mean, he kind of just did what he needed to. Aaron Jones, 15 carries, 132 yards. He was running all day with a touchdown. Also had a receiving touchdown. What was his line? 3 for 38 with a touchdown in the receiving game.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is all over the field. And as well as when you're down 24-7, so the Chicago Bears are down 24-7 in the second quarter. How many times would you expect your quarterback to throw the ball in a game that you're down 24-7?
Most of the time.
Probably more than 11 attempts throughout the entire game, right?
Yeah,
Justin Fields, 7 for 11, 70 yards and an interception.
QBR of 6.7.
I mean, don't get me wrong, David Montgomery looked great.
He did.
He had an 8.1 average on the ground with a 28 long run, 15 for 122. He looked great. But the passing game in Chicago is
let me get the fuck out of any share you have as a Chicago pass catcher. I mean, we were big on Cole Kmet. Get out.
Yep.
I would almost try to get out of Darnell Mooney.
I dropped Cole Kmet. I'm out. I'm done.
He has completed. Let me say this right now. Justin Fields in 2 games. I know one was in the rain. In 2 games has completed 13 passes.
Oh my God.
13 passes in 2 games. They're not throwing the football. Get out. There is no hope here. I mean, can you take a flyer on one of the guys who maybe catches a touchdown? I mean, get out.
Hell no. And that's going for me. I was a big Cole Kmet guy. I'm
the saddest thing of all time. I know you loved your Cole Kmet. I still love Money. He's not Money no more though, because that team they just don't even throw the ball.
AJ Dillon
don't even do it.
By the way, AJ Dillon did have 18 carries for 61 yards. I thought he looked okay.
I did just get an update on James Conner. Not necessarily breaking news. A little bit of breaking news is his ankle injury is said to be not that serious. He did remain on the sidelines with his uniform on throughout the game, but did not come back into play. So we will have to monitor that and see what happens. But just got that update from Sleeper, figured I'd plug it in and see.
I know you guys. Sorry, Joe. I know you guys talked about Alan Lazard earlier. Kind of interesting. Sammy Watkins getting the lead target share over there from Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think you can. I mean, I think it's kind of like Kansas City. Yeah. I don't think you can take a shot.
I mean, he peppered it everywhere. There's 2, 4, 6 players that had 3 targets throughout the game. So it's a weird one.
We will not cover the Monday Night Football games because we're recording. This will come out on Tuesday. We're recording before them, but we do have Tennessee and Buffalo tonight, yesterday, and Minnesota and Philadelphia. A couple of big games. A lot of big fantasy names in that. So week's technically not over. What do we have next, Joe?
Got a little fantasy matchups, our home league fantasy matchups. So we'll get right into that.
So
yeah, I'm sorry. We'll definitely get to that. We have a few that are just about locked up, not 100%, but a 99% chance of winning here. Let's get right into it. I mean, Andy Papa Kamish versus Bryce here, Bryce Phobel. Andy's got the 99% chance to win here. It's all but locked up. Bryce does have Derrick Henry left, and Andy has Tyler Bass, kicker, left on this Monday night game. But Andy is up just about 50 points, so you can consider that one all but wrapped up. Highlighted by a Carson Wentz, great day, Christian Kirk, Jalen Waddle, Jahan Dotson, Zach Ertz, all in Andy's lineup to get him this victory here. Bryce on the other side, he had a lot going on Thursday with Patrick Mahomes, Mike Williams, Juju. Mike Williams went off for him. That's about it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes didn't even get to the 20-point threshold that we talked about. So Bryce looking to go 0-2 to start the year, and Andy looking to go 2-0.
Join the club, Bryce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to get to you right now, Derek. Next, we have Diego versus Derek. Diego's auto-drafted team is going to go 2-0. I mean, he had Cooper Kupp. He had Cooper Kupp go off for 33.8 in our league. I wish he was on my team. I love him so much, Cooper Kupp. But besides that, I mean, he had a lot of single digits on his team. I mean, CD did well, and Deontay Johnson, 15 and 13 points. Derek, highlighted by Tom Brady, Zeke, Cordero, Devontae Adams, all in the single digits.
But Curtis Samuel came to play.
All of those were Tyler's of the week. Those are all in the Tyler's of the week list, but Curtis Samuel was a soup this week who had 22.9 for you.
My best quarterback of the week was Mac Jones, throwing an interception to Minka for me.
Yeah, you did have Tyler Lockett on your bench, but we did not expect him to put up 20 points. Lastly, these are all just the matchups that are already just about locked up. All of these are 99% win chances for Andy, Diego, both basically locked in with the win, as well as Soup and Sammy's are looking to get their first win of the season to knock Testoni, my co-host, down to 0-2 on the year. Also, Diego's looking to go 2-0. Derek will be going 0-2 as well. Soup and Sammy's led by Tyreek Hill and Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiving core. I mean, that was 88 points right there. So that's crazy. Testoni, a lot of injuries. Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, Dalton Schultz. T. Higgins had a good day for you. So did your linebacker.
You might as well slap DeAndre Swift on that injury as well.
Yeah, basically, because he only had 5 carries, but he still had 16 points. So yeah, I mean, Soup projected 203 points because he still has Dalvin Cook, Jalen Hurts, and Miles Sanders to play, and he's already at 150. So Soup looking to go 1-1, Testoni to go 0-2.
Thank God.
I'm sorry, brother. The other 3 matchups we won't really get into right now. We will get into those on Saturday. We'll recap how those finished up. We do have me versus Sam Smith. I am looking to lose that, but it's not 100% out. We have Jake Wills versus Spano. Spano is looking to get that win as well.
I will say real quick in that matchup.
Yeah.
In that matchup, so he's still got both his wide receivers to play. Jake Wills, Gabe Davis, he has in there right now. I don't think is going to play, but his safety valve. I don't know if you saw his bench. He picked up Isaiah McKenzie, so that will be the plug.
Yeah,
it's not play.
And so I mean, Jake Wills is down by 2 points right now with those wide receivers left, and Spano has Josh Allen left to play. Me and Sam Smith, just quick little who we got going, who we got left. I still have Stephon Diggs and Greg Joseph, the kicker, and I am down by 40 points. So, I mean, if Stephon Diggs puts up 30 like he did week 1 and Greg Joseph puts up 10 for me, you never know. And the last matchup we have Andrew Atkins is up by 22 points against Jackson Edelman. Jackson Edelman still has A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson to go, while Atkins still has Dallas Goedert and a defensive player to play. So that is very much up in the air. And that's a little quick recap of our fantasy matchups. We'll get into those other three that aren't finished up on Saturday to let you know who won.
Let's get into the Thursday night football preview. Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-1 travel to the 1-1 Cleveland Browns. Right now, the line has Cleveland, the home team, at 5-point favorites. Over under is 39.5, expecting a low scoring game. Injury report, still no TJ Watt. And then on Cleveland's side, it looks like they have Conklin. Well, Conklin was out this last week, so it'll probably be questionable. And Jacoby Brissett is questionable as well. I guess he took a hit. I'm sure he'll play. So, man, looking at this, I'd probably take Cleveland for their ability to run the football, but man, 5. I don't think it's gonna be 5. I guess I got to take Pittsburgh plus 5. I take Cleveland to win. I take Cleveland to win, but Pittsburgh to cover.
Yeah, I'm taking the plus here as well. I mean, Mike Tomlin as an underdog historically covers, but I mean, Cleveland's defense, what happened? Let the Jets just go all over them. I mean, I think Najee Harris could have a great day on Thursday, as well as the pass catchers. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky's been kind of getting it done. So, I mean, I lean the Steelers here. I think that you can play you're playing all your Steelers. I mean, probably not Chase Claypool unless you have to in a pinch to sub him in. I mean, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, Najee Harris, all getting started. On the Browns side, I mean, the running backs are getting started. Do either one of you, what do you guys think? Amari Cooper, is he in for you this week? Or because obviously the running backs are the only for sure starters for Cleveland.
I mean, I could see Amari as like a flex play. I mean, he's going to get the targets. They're going to run and not end up possessing the ball like they did against the Jets. And then they're going to have to throw because the Steelers are going to be in the football game the whole time. I don't know.
I personally would not want to start Amari Cooper, but I guess if you have him on your team, you probably drafted him to be your wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3. So I guess you have to play him. I mean, it depends on your options, but I'm not very high on Amari Cooper still.
Yeah. Well, we're all on Pittsburgh plus 5, so we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Well, just a sad day, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Try to keep the energy up a little bit, but my God, I mean, did I just take it? Absolutely on Sunday.
I know. I'm sorry. But with the Thursday night game, we'll see what happens on Thursday. We'll recap it on Saturday, is what I meant to say. And
maybe I'll be in a better mood.
I'm sorry for what happened, Testoni. I mean, I think this entire podcast right now, including Derek, is going to lose this week. So I'm the only one that's still fighting the good fight. It's not looking good, but I'm going to try my
Joe.
best.
Fight the good fight.
Joe, I'm already done with week 2. I'm already looking forward to me and Testoni's 0-2 battle of the toilet bowl.
Let's go, Stephon Diggs. Yeah, that's all we got today. Let's I'll actually get in a little Twitter, go ahead. If you guys reach out, follow us on Twitter at EastSideFF with a capital E, S, and FF at the end. Appreciate everybody who's been listening. Still get comments about enjoying the show and enjoying what we're doing here. So we really appreciate all that. You can find these podcasts on Apple Podcasts and YouTube, both at Eastside Fantasy Football. Apple Podcasts will come out on Tuesdays and Saturdays, as well as on YouTube, where we will have those in 2-parters on YouTube, split the show up in half. We really appreciate all the support from our guys in this league and other people throughout the fantasy community. So, yeah.
Give us a follow, share it. Thanks to Derek Taitano. But before anything, we have late breaking news.
Interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
Oh, let's do it.
Do not expect Mike Evans next week against Green Bay. He has been suspended 1 game.
I see that. He did get suspended. Did Lattimore
week
get
3,
suspended?
Mike Evans, done.
Thank God I rostered Lattimore.
No. Well, that doesn't really matter, fans.
Yeah. So does Tom get his first benching in his career on my squad?
Very possible.
Possibly. Unless you get some other guys back. I probably know God wouldn't know either. But anyways, thank you, Derek Taitano, for coming out.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Thanks, Joe. I'm Nick Testoni.
Thank you, Testoni.
Thank you. I'm Nick Testoni, and this was the Eastside Fantasy Football Podcast.
Yes, sir. See you guys on Saturday.